So last year about this time, I'd spent a lot of time sort of traveling throughout this region, the Mojave Desert, looking at different places and things and trying to understand the geography of the land of the place a little better during the time that I wasn't exactly being employed by most people's standards. And I was working and trying to learn more about how the land was connected together and how people went from one place to another and always in motion one way or another, whether it's on the freeway or the highway or a trail or however we get along. And I was contacted by a man, he's an elder from the Totono O'odham tribe. You know them as the Pima Indians from southern Arizona. Am I loud enough?
Yep.
I could step away from the mic. Am I loud enough? He was a Pima Indian. And he contacted me, and I had been living on the edge sort of Coyote Hole. I don't know if you're familiar with that place. It's a very special place out here. Exploring this place and trying to understand a little better the Coyote Hole and the area nearby. They call it the Desert View Preserve. My children call it Kingdom of the Rocks. And we began to go out there and explore and look at this place, and we would go to the campsites and pick up trash, and we even had some Marines come out and help us out and explore the land and start to learn about that connection between the Creator, ourselves, and Mother Earth. And I was visited by this Pima Indian, Totono O'odham, to those who know. He was an elder named Pete Jackson. And Elder Jackson came to me. He contacted me and he said, I will be near you and I need to speak with you. Now, I frequently host people in my home to speak and to share their wisdom with others. And I said, well, Elder, come on to my house. We'll have people over. We'll share a meal with you, and you will be welcome in my home. You have none of that. He said, I am there to see you. He said, well, how about if I take you to Coyote Hole? It's a very special place for all of us here in Joshua Tree, and I've been studying it recently, learning more about it, and I have many questions. He says, I don't care about Coyote Hole. I come to see you. It reminds me of parties when I was in high school, always somebody talking in the back. Or perhaps the coffee shops I used to yell out in the microphone with a bottle of Mickey's in one hand and something else in the other. But meanwhile, back to Elder Jackson. So I convinced the elder to go for a walk with me, and he brought another elder. She's a lovely woman by the name of Otter, who lives down in Morongo Valley, and brought that Otter along. And Otter and Elder and I began the journey down the wash to Coyote Hole. He walked fast and ahead of everybody else in the group. And we spoke. He spoke rapidly of life as a Pima, working in Vietnam, being in Vietnam, coming out of there and working in electronics, understanding life as a person trained and programmed into the culture that we live within now. But one day, an elder came to me, and was a little younger than you are right now, Antonio. And he said to me, Peter, I have something to share with you. It may not be a comfortable thing for you, but it's knowledge you must learn. And as we walked further and we climbed down the waterfall, Otter couldn't really make it. She was on a chain, had a difficult time, but she managed to get over. She's walked for a long time. Pete scaled the waterfall until he wasn't there. And we walked up to the petroglyphs, and these glyphs are on a wall in an area where the water washes down, and above in one area looks like a cathedral, much like this beautiful space, only with rocks put there by the Creator. And the glyphs tell stories. Many of us know that as rock art. To the elders, they are offended by such terms. This is not art. This is communication. These are stories. These are our stories. These are not myths. These are not legends. This is who we are and where we have been. Have I gone past 6 minutes? Thank you. So Elder Jackson says to me, he says, I've come with messages to you that it is time for you to hear the wisdom of the star people. I bring messages from the star people to you, Antonio. Now, I've never been someone who's believed in little green men. I've always enjoyed flying saucers and rock and roll. But he was very serious. Funny how the week before I met a woman in Cathedral City in a Mexican market who said, I have messages for you. And she proceeded to tell me a tale of coming from the stars. The week prior to meeting Elder Jackson, a dear friend of mine, Elder Ernest Seaver from the Serrano tribe, we know them as the Morongos, stood in a very sacred place in Joshua Tree, the retreat center, and said, I bring you greetings. My people are from the planet Mara. We are not from this earth. Now, Ernie had never shared this with me. You're from the stars, Ernie? So in 3 days, then 3 times, people claiming to come from the stars sought me out. Now, I haven't told the story very much. And I've never told it for a crowd of people. Because you never know who's going to go, Bo, Bo, you're crazy. It just happened right here in this land about a year ago at this time. Have I gone 10 minutes? Elder Jackson looks at the wall, the rocks falling down, and he asks me, what do you think of this? And I say to him, well, I've heard many things about this, and I've learned many things. He said, you haven't learned very much about this. We don't look at this as artwork. We don't look at this as something that you can spend a lifetime studying and unlock the secrets of. This is part of a larger, more connected thing you're looking at. I've been very interested in travel the trails and learn about the land and try to understand the ways of the old ones, the way they traveled, the way they communicated. And he begins to explain, he says, this is a larger piece of the puzzle. He says, we are at a crossroads. And you are here to bring a message to people through your work and through your study and through the time that you've spent on this land. And this road is the way humanity is going. And this road is the way it is ending. In this era, in this new age, the fifth son, the Machika called it. As we stood at the rocks, Elder Pete told me, the shoe is on the other foot. What I mean by that is that the women, the feminine, are responsible for Mother Earth now, once again. And we, as males, have to somehow pay for what we've done. But not in a mean or vindictive sense. He says, no, because that's going to be the challenge of this new era. Are women going to act like men did in the last era? Or will the shoe fit well on each foot and we'll find balance? we find that connection between the Creator, ourselves, and Mother Earth. We bring connection